Hello from Lashan. I came here totally unprepared. Let's see what the mountain has to offer. This shop is closed. The shelves are empty. We tried to call them, no one is replying. So we have to move on and see what's next. Actually, the Lashan is up there on the other side of this valley. Called a few places, they are either not there or they are out picking leaves and cannot receive us. But as a matter of fact, we stop along the way and there we see on the other side of the valley few tea fields with pickers. So I would say let's go on the other side and check it out. Before heading to the other side of the valley, a little stop at the Lashan National Forest. So I take the opportunity to do some movement after 2 weeks of just traveling with no sport. There are many giant trees here. I think 22 to be precise in the whole trail area. Wow, it's awesome. So nice, fresh air. We are at about 1600, right there 1700 meters above sea level. I think I made a wrong turn. There is no more sign here. There was a sign I couldn't pass, but I thought that would lead me anyway to destination. But I have been running too long in the wrong direction, so I'm going back. Whoa. Awesome. Whew. That was a nice downhill. Now a little shower and then it's time for tea hunting. Now we are crossing on the other side of the valley where we saw those farmers this morning picking the leaves. We were up there before, and from there we saw some tea gardens that are just behind this hill. That's where we are heading to. Hopefully it's possible to go there with this mini car. The road was a little bit steep and a little bit narrow, but we made it to the tea fields and also to the tea factory. Now let's see how welcoming they are. If they have tea to sell to us, that's we have to find out. The other side of the valley is where we actually saw this garden here, and then we drove all the way down, back up, and here we are. They are still picking. I think the rain will start somewhat soon, so they might also interrupt the harvest. Here you see the classic picking of oolong with 3 to 4 leaves and a bud. A little track full of fresh tea leaves is going down to the factory, and we are just following. Here they are preparing the withering mats for the fresh leaves. Nice to meet you. These are the weight of the different batches that we have just shown before in gin. Igajin Liuka. Igajin Liuka.
600克，Yes.
So one gin in Taiwan is 600 grams, and there you've seen how many gin each of this bag weight. The surface where they are putting the leaves for withering is actually a net. You can see through it. So this allows the leaves to be surrounded by air, with air coming from the top and from the bottom. It's not very common actually, I haven't seen it in many places. Here you see the leaves, they are oxidizing. Fermenting. This is the oxidation room. A lot of leaves are here in racks for oxidation. When they need to be moved into the rolling machine, in the tumblers, they are slided out like the one that we see here on the floor. Moreover, there is a dehumidifier on the corner. They don't control the temperature in the room, which up here is fairly low, 20 degrees centigrade today, but they remove the humidity because today we are at 85%, that will be a little bit too much. After the oxidation, the leaves will go into this oven here for stopping the oxidation. Now they are not in operation because the first that were picked up this morning will come into this machine in a few hours. In this room here, we have the last step of the processing before the roasting, where the leaves are rolled into pearls. What we see here is machine in operations, although it is 2 p.m. right now. Those leaves were actually picked yesterday. This is the final step of the processing after they have been working on it for the whole night. We are able to try some of the tea that was harvested and roasted in the previous days. We got a little bit lucky today actually. When I got up this morning after all these calls and they didn't reply, they say we cannot go there. At the end I thought, okay, let's call it a day before it even starts. But here we are. They started the harvest just a few days ago. What we are trying right now is the third day of harvest and the fourth one. Well, they are fairly green, but not too much. Let's see how is the taste.
所以第3天、第4天用喝的喝得出来吗？
喝得出来啊。
哦，喝得出来哦。
对啊
哦，
因为
好，那你不要说，然后让他猜，可以吗？ Okay, we'll let you guess which is the third day and which one is the fourth day. 老板，你记得吗？哈，哪一个是哪一个？
How should I guess? How should I guess? Based on what? I can tell you which one I like the most, but I don't know.
可是如果甜度是要靠什么来分？
是吧？
就是我尝味道可以尝得出来是靠什么来分？
靠谱来分的。
你怎么会知道说这个第三或第四？
因为我们每天泡大师上知道说，我今天做的是怎样的茶。
哦，
久了就忘记。
Oh, the smell is really good, I have to say. Try.
这个
They are actually very similar in taste. Maybe the right one, I actually prefer the smell. But in terms of taste, they're very similar. And the fact that I've been trying them with some time difference between one and the other one was stronger, so it's a bit difficult. But now actually they have been brewing for the same time. I will add a little bit of water because it's a bit too strong.
Yeah.
Well, they have a different color actually, yeah.
它们颜色也不太一样，
So a different oxidation.
所以不同的氧化程度。
这个做这个它的氧化时间比较长。
I actually personally prefer the lighter one. The level of roasting is exactly the same. What changes is only the oxidation. But since I prefer somewhat lighter tea, I'm doing it again in a tea taster mug. The taste was really floral and sweet. I will try it again now. At the end, it's also all about the price that we haven't asked yet. But in terms of taste, it's not exploding in my mouth, but there is a very nice florality, a little bit of sweetness, at the same time astringent, but just a tiny bit. We have also the second brew of the same tea that the owner prepared before, much darker. Also doesn't develop any bitterness, just this a little bit of astringency, drying in the mouth, but not much. Actually, it's rather pleasant, I would say. And now I tried the heavily oxidized. I mean, heavily is relatively heavily. It's just a little bit more. A little bit fruity. Certainly heavier on the palate. I mean, it's really a matter of taste. In this case, I would opt for the lighter one. After having tasted both of them in the tea taster mug, I decided to go for the more oxidized one. The lighter one had a nice florality, but it was a tiny bit too grassy. They are now packing it for us, both for the US and for the Europe, and I will just take it away with me in the backpack. It has been really a great day. We found tea, we found good tea for a good price, and now it's time to go back all the way down to the valley. Bye bye. Long way down the mountain. Here we are. Before it gets too dark, I would like to share with you some insights about tea production in Lashan. First of all, Lashan has never been really famous for tea. It is more a place renowned for its beautiful and pristine nature, since there is a national forest there, and also for its beaches. But years ago, probably between 15 and 20 years ago, tea production started over again. I have two references for that. First of all, my friend Benjamin was in Lashan 12 years ago, and when he visited it, he was told by the producer at that time that it was the second or the third season of production, which means that production, at least in that garden, started about 15 years ago. Today we asked the same question to this producer. He's actually from Zhushan, near Lugu in Nantou, and he decided to move his production from there to here in year 2000, or right after that, because in year 2000 there was a very strong earthquake in Nantou, and he thought that for some reason he didn't think it was safe to stay there and decided to move the production here. So actually all the tea pickers and even the tea master in his factory are all people from Zhushan, and he basically hired them during the season, bring them over here, and they stay here for the time of picking and production.